Marcus from Three Sons Brewery. Welcome, and why is it so important for you to be out here, sir?
We have a great relationship with the city. We're out here often. A lot of the city members come into the tap room a lot. So what we did, we collaborated based off of the 120-year anniversary. We brewed a beer called See It, Drink It, Love It. A nice play on See It, Live It, Love It.
I've tasted it myself. Delicious. There you have it, folks. Everyone had a great time. We hope to see you 2025, another edition of Oktoberfest. Shout out to the city of Dania Beach.
MC Aaron, the speaker, here with
DJ Mills.
And we're going to walk around the city of Dania Beach asking people why they came to
Light up the night.
Let's go.
I love Dania. Dania's awesome. We love this city. Love all the people showing love.
Oh, Santa was awesome.
It feels nice to get out into the community and
everyone. This is the City of Dania Beach regular meeting on April the 22nd. It is 7 p.m. and I call this meeting to order. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Mayor Davis.
Here.
Vice Mayor Salvino.
Here.
Say it, you want to say it into, oh. Commissioner Llewellyn.
Here.
Commissioner Romoli.
Here.
Commissioner Ryan.
Here.
City Attorney Bootzes.
Here.
City Manager Garcia.
Here.
Mayor Yamacorn.
You need to address.
Thank you so much, City Clerk. And at this time, if we could all be seated and settled down, we are getting ready for our moment of silence, but we will wait until everyone is settled. If you could please bow your heads for a moment of silence. Thank you. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, we have item 3.1, presentations and special event approvals. We have a presentation by Broward County Animal Care on Tags for Life. If you please introduce yourself, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners and Mayor. I'm Doug Brightwell, the Broward County Animal Care Director for the Animal Care Division. And just wanted to take a few minutes of your time to talk to you all about the changes we've made in our pet licensing program for 2025. And we hope that it will have some success with getting this moving forward. As you know, every dog and cat that lives in Broward County is required to be licensed by the county and have a current rabies vaccine. Traditionally, the county has let this program kind of wither on the vine and has not been very good with enforcement. And that has affected public health as well as not allowing us to get animals returned back home quickly when they come to our shelter. So beginning in January of this year, we switched our tag program to a lifetime tag number, similar to your car tag. So now every year after you get your tag in 2025, that tag and that tag number will stay with your pet for the rest of that pet's life. And then as you renew that tag, through our division, you'll get an updated certificate, but the tag will stay the same, the tag number will stay the same. That cuts down on a great deal of data entry for veterinarian offices and for our division, because you're not changing that 6 to 12 digit number every year. The other change that's coming up effective May 1st is we are switching the program from a regimen or price point based on sterilization, whether your dog or cat is fixed or not fixed, and you pay a fee accordingly. We're switching it to whether your pet is microchipped or not microchipped. So a microchipped pet will be a $25 registration fee. A non-microchipped pet will be a $55 fee. And microchips are very easy or cheap to get at veterinarians and through us, significantly cheaper than a sterilization process. So we hope this will motivate people to get it done. The bigger advantage to that, though, is once we have a microchip on file with these pets, if they come through our shelter, we can get them back home much, much quicker because we know who they belong to and where they live. So they don't languish in our facility or never get returned and get transferred to rescues or go up to adoption in new homes and never get back to their original owners. So we're just trying to get this word out for our citizens and cities within the county that this program is changing. We're getting it revamped and hopefully going to get everybody moving in the right direction with that program. So if anybody has any questions, you can just let me know.
Any questions?
All right, thank you all.
Thank you so much for that presentation and update. We greatly appreciate it. Next, we have item 3.2, request for proclamation approval for Mental Health Awareness Month for May 2025, sponsored by me. Do we have consensus for that? We have consensus. Thank you. board. Next, we have proclamations. Item 4.1, Frontline Worker Appreciation Month, sponsored by me, but our wonderful Commissioner Romoli has agreed to read the Frontline Workers Proclamation. Thank you, Commissioner Romoli, and you are good to go.
Thank you, Mayor. It's an honor to be able to read this on your behalf. Thank you. Whereas frontline workers are the builders of our community, exercising curiosity, compassion, courage, and creativity to provide essential services that ensure the safety, health, and education of our residents. And whereas over 9 million healthcare workers across the United States serve in hospitals, clinics, and long-term care facilities, often placing themselves at risk to provide life-saving care. And whereas firefighters respond to an estimated 36 million emergency calls each year, over 800,000 sworn law enforcement officers nationwide work tirelessly to uphold the law and ensure public safety, and emergency medical services, EMS, and personnel respond to more than 240 million calls annually. And whereas teachers dedicate their careers to shaping the future of our communities, with over 3.7 million educators in the United States providing knowledge and guidance to our youth, and whereas frontline workers embody the essence of builders, flexible thinkers, and constructive problem solvers who respect the dignity of all people by dedicating themselves to overcoming challenges and uniting community. Now, therefore, on behalf of Dania Beach Commission and our Mayor, Joyce L. Davis, the City of Dania Beach, we do hereby proclaim May 25th as Frontline Worker Appreciation Month in the City of Dania Beach and encourage all residents to join in recognizing and honoring the heroic contributors of our healthcare workers, firefighters, law enforcement officers, EMS personnel, and teachers.
Thank you, Commissioner Romoli, and we do appreciate all of our frontline workers here in the City of Dania Beach and around our state. Next, we're moving on to administrative reports. Madam City Manager.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, Vice Mayor, City team that's here, our residents that are present, and the residents that are watching at home. It's been a truly remarkable couple of weeks. I want to give some new information that I just got today from our Communications and Marketing Director. Our newsletters are in the post office, so they will be hitting your mailboxes this week. It's a really, really remarkable publication. And there's so much great information for you, so we're very, very excited about that. As you are aware, we have tremendous priorities that were a result of our adopted strategic master plan. And one of the top priorities of this administration, and certainly of our mayor and commission, is proactive efforts in regards to safety and mitigating risk. And that's an ongoing perpetual effort on our part. And I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce Wayne Fletcher. Wayne, if you can come up. Wayne is our risk manager. Already the investment on him has returned dividend tenfold. Wayne, can you please just introduce, tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure, thank you. I was just reminiscing as I walked down here, Manager, and I realized it's been many, many years ago. I started out of graduate school working with the federal government. And then I worked with the state of Illinois, government. And then I was with the county government. I've been with the risk manager for City of Miami, or for the County of Miami-Dade. And then for the last 8 years, I've been the director of risk management at Broward County. And so I've gone from the federal to the state to the county, and then I'm working for the City of Dania Beach. And actually, it's been the most rewarding experience of all the above, because I feel like that everybody cares. I work with the individuals. They're very hardworking. You can contact many people very easily. And so I thank you all sitting up here for allowing me the opportunity to finish my career here working with you folks. And so there was a great base, safety and cultural base started here when I started. I've only been here 3.5 months. And Linda and the HR department and even others have set a great base for a safety culture in the city. And what I'm trying to do now is I would like to take the opportunity to expand that and create a safety culture among all of our employees and our residents in the city of Dania Beach.
Thank you so much, Wayne, and we welcome, and I know the City Commission and our residents welcome you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And for our residents that are watching, we would not be able to recruit, retain, or promote the caliber of individuals that we're getting if it wasn't for the support of this mayor, this vice mayor, and this commission. The priority of our city team and our responsiveness and the level of service that we deliver to you 365 days a year is a top priority for us. So thank you so much, Wayne, and thank you, City Commission. I'm a proud member of the Greater Alliance Board, and I just spent 4 remarkable days last week, 10 days ago, in Boston. And you can learn from books, but the learning that I was able to take back from the time that I spent with Boston and what they're doing in regards to public-private partnerships, being able to tour the New Balance compound, which is a transit-oriented district, which is a partnership between New Balance, the shoe company, and the city of Boston, and the Boston Bruins, their hockey team, and the Boston Celtics is truly, truly remarkable. How they've taken areas in the city that were basically dead around Fenway Park, and Samuels and Associates have turned the project of the Fenway into a thriving, revitalized area. So that's what we're doing, working with our team in community development, our city planners, our visionaries. So every time that we go to a city or we go to a conference, whether it's the mayor or commission, myself or our city team, we bring back a wealth of resources, getting to break bread with the COO of our Stanley Cup champions, Florida Panthers, was truly amazing. Getting to cement further relationship with Mark Gale from the airport, and David Swindell. It's when a group or a plan is executed in such a way that it exceeds my expectation, and we have a really high bar, not just here in the city, but in all our affiliations. That was truly, truly a remarkable trip, and I look forward to the one-on-ones with all of you to let you know all the opportunities that we have here as well. What can I say about our Parks and Recreation Department and the Division of Special Events? The Easter egg hunt was fantastic. The Earth Day cleanup yesterday, fantastic. The Blues and Barbecues is we go from event to event to event, and we're just delivering. We currently have 62 active projects citywide, and that's separate from our special events. We're delivering excellence 365 days for our residents, and we couldn't do it without these department directors and the deep bench that we've been able to create thanks to this mayor, this vice mayor, and this commission. I also wanted to let you know that at the Dania After Dark, Wayne joined me. We walked around. In addition to what BSO and police is doing, Wayne is looking at things from a different perspective. So those proactive efforts are touching our entire city all the time. So we're very, very happy about this addition to our team. We also, the mayor, myself, and Deputy Manager Candido Sosa Cruz, on April the 2nd, we had a meeting with Baldwin English. He's a senior executive at FPL. As we're preparing for the budget, we're preparing for a very, very challenging year. But, you know, leadership during times that are, you know, when money's coming and we're not dealing with the challenges that we're dealing today, well, that's kind of easy to lead during those times. So we're elevating what we do and really thinking outside the box. We anticipate that the rates for Florida Power and Light are going to go up. And it's going to be substantial. They still have to go to the Public Service Commission for approval. But based on the conversation that they had with the mayor and myself and the deputy city manager, we're going to expect that. On the afternoon of April 2nd, And our deputy city manager, our chief financial officer, and I met with the top brass of BSO. BSO is having a challenge in regards to retaining and recruiting officers at all levels in fire, paramedics, and public safety. And there's great competition with Miami-Dade County, great competition with Palm Beach as well. So I think that they're doing what they can in regards to elevating some of these pay plans, and we're working very, very good with them, and so we started that negotiation as well. But we expect that to go up, and we've planned that in the budget. But this is really a time to be innovative, creative, think outside the box, and our whole team is on board to be able to find those opportunities to save monies and to also generate revenue. And Madam Mayor, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Manager. We are on now to item 5.2, City Attorney Report.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and everyone in the audience. First of all, I just want to make sure that each of you has received my breakdown of all of the bills, and it's like 40 pages of bills. Tallahassee is really going strong, but I will keep you updated weekly as the reports come out. Last meeting, we discussed a possible Florida Statute 164 alternative dispute resolution process. As you know, Coconut Creek and Deerfield Beach have sued the county regarding the Monarch Hill disposal facility. The idea is that the county wanted to expand that, and it affects all of the municipalities in Broward County. The county has advised us if we'd like of the opportunity to participate in the alternative dispute process. I told you I was reaching out to all the other cities, and I will tell you that other than Coconut Creek and Deerfield Beach, there's one other city that has joined in this litigation, and that's Pembroke Pines. All the other cities have declined to get involved. So I didn't know if there's any interest on your behalf, but I wanted to give you that information.
Does anybody want to speak on that at this time? Commissioner Ryan?
Sure, I'll speak on it since I'm on the Solid Waste Authority with the county. As you know, there's 28 cities that got involved of the 31 cities in the county. Pembroke Pines isn't one of them. So from speaking with Eve and seeing that the other cities are staying out of it, I would say that's probably, maybe the best route that our city can take. But right now, it seems like the county's waiting for the master plan that the Solid Waste Authority is trying to come up with. And Coconut Creek and Deerfield are on the Solid Waste Authority. So to see how this lawsuit turns out, it's going to be kind of confusing. And then I asked the county as well if the Solid Waste Authority itself, since it's its own governing board, should make a decision if they want to join that lawsuit also. And the county advised me that it doesn't count. It doesn't go into the purview of 164. But Eve had a different opinion on that as well. So we're just trying to figure it out. But yeah, from my knowledge in dealing with this for the last 2 years and from seeing what the other cities are doing, I would say it's best to probably stay out of this proceeding.
I concur with that. Commission?
Yeah. Looks like we have consensus. Okay. And finally, I just wanted to advise that we're going to be doing a memorial tree and plaque for Mr. Tom Ansbro, who was your city attorney here for over 20 some odd years. The plaque is a total cost of $900, and so I'm going to be pursuing that, and well, I'll let you know the date for the memorial tree planting.
Does that conclude your report?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney, for that report, and we'll look forward to that memorial tree and plaque for our former attorney, Tom Ansbro. Next, we have the City Clerk reminders.
Thank you, Mayor. Your next meeting is scheduled for May 13th, beginning with your CRA meeting at 6 p.m. and following that is your regular City Commission meeting at 7 p.m. And then after that, you have May 27th for your regular City Commission meeting. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, City Clerk. And then we will move on to public safety reports, and we have our very own Captain Jason Tarala.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. So I'll start by earlier this week, we had a call that came out over at a residence on the southeast section. The call came out of a domestic battery call where the victim called 911, and on the 911 line to the call taker, she advised she was being battered, she was bleeding from her nose, and she was being held hostage from the residence. As soon as our deputies arrived on scene, they attempted to make contact with her. There was no answer at the door. They were able to ping the phone, and the phone came back to being still inside the residence. Our deputies made the decision based on exigent circumstances to force their way inside the residence. They kicked the door in, and once they made the entry inside the residence, they were successfully able to locate the female who was being held inside by her boyfriend, and that individual was placed in custody for domestic battery and false imprisonment and taken to the main jail. And she was recovered, taken out, and made sure she was okay with no injuries. Also, earlier this week, a very good call, a very good arrest. During the month of January 2025, the South Florida ICAC received a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children concerning distribution and possession of child pornography occurring within our city. The cyber tip contained one reported file of child pornography depicting a child as young as 6 years old being engaged in sexual acts. Our BSO Strategic Intervention Division, ICAC, began to work this investigation, and it led them to an address over at the Avery Apartments. Through their investigation, they identified an individual that was sharing child pornography with images as young as children from 5 to 7 years old. Last week, a residential search warrant was obtained, and on April 16th, at approximately 0600 hours, the warrant was executed with the assistance of our BSO SWAT team. This individual was located inside the residence and placed into custody, where multiple images and videos of child pornography was successfully recovered. That individual was charged with possession of child pornography and possession to transmit child pornography. He's currently at the main jail. So that's a fantastic arrest. And last, I just wanted to highlight some of our proactivity we've been doing. Myself and the city manager working together with the city. So just over the last week alone, we've had over 80 proactive area checks over here at City Hall, the library that's now closed, and also the parking garage. We've done 51 area checks over at Frost Park, as well as 40 area checks alone at Chesterbird Park. Chesterbird Park's area checks have produced 2 arrests, one for a warrant and one for an individual that we previously arrested for selling narcotics at the park. He came back to the property, and we arrested him again for the trespassing in violation of probation and narcotics. He was taken to the main jail. We placed our Eye in the Sky Tower at the park, and since the Eye in the Sky Tower has been there and we've made the 2 arrests, our units have been going over there. Our deputies as well as our CST team has advised that there's been little to no activity at all, except the people who should be there inside the park.
And if I may, through the mayor, this was our risk manager doing a walkthrough at Chesterbird and then seeing a group scatter, finding some syringes, drug paraphernalia, and within 24 hours, we had a conference call with the chief, with Candido, with Wayne, with Linda, and this has resulted in arrest and proactive efforts
100%.
with that Eye in the Sky that you all funded, cleaning our parks and ensuring that we are safe for our community.
100%. The Eye in the Sky is already, we've seen great results with it already. We have one over here at Happy Family, reference illegal gatherings, which we've been able to shut down at Happy Family. And the other one is currently at Chesterbird, and that alone there is such a deterrent because nobody, if they're doing illegal activity, they don't want to be videotaped, and that's videotaping. So that alone, that investment you guys have done has shown already its results. So thank you again for that investment. And lastly, I just want to touch on that the spring break season has officially come to an end for us. And I can tell you that it's been amazingly successful, the city of Dania, to include from our beach all the way to Dania Point. Zero incidents of violence between the beach and Dania Point during this entire spring break season. So that is a phenomenal achievement, and that's my deputies who have worked so hard, working with the city manager, with everyone on this commission, and Kimco to get together a strong plan of action for the city. We knew that there was going to be a influx of juveniles in older college kids coming to the property, and even with that, 0 incidents. And that's fantastic. Kudos to everybody who was involved in that. And I also want to say another kudos to everyone and all my deputies. We had the high holidays. We had Passover this weekend as well as Easter Sunday. 0 incidents at any of our Jewish facilities or churches. Our deputies did area checks at every single Jewish institution and all the churches throughout the city, made contact with the pastors, made contact with the rabbis, and absolutely 0 issues of concern within our city for the entire holiday season. So that report, yes, absolutely. And that completes my report. Excuse me.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you for all that you're doing. Public safety is our #1 priority, and you guys are really doing an amazing job. So thank you for all that you're doing to keep our residents safe, and especially our children.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have our very own BSO Fire Chief, Sergio Pellicer.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City staff, and the great citizens of Dania Beach. So since the last commission meeting, our department took delivery of a new piece of firefighting equipment. It's called a turbo draft. Now, what it does is we hook it up to our fire truck, we throw it in the water or a body of water, and we use it whenever we have hydrants that are far away from wherever structure we're fighting fire at, so we're able to access water pretty quickly. So hopefully it'll save somebody's property at one point in my career. Our units have been training very hard on it. They're very excited because it's very easy to use. So when they're excited about something, you know it's going to work perfect. I want to say, yesterday, our fire department and myself were very proud that we get to participate in the best beach cleanup in the past 5 years. It was amazing. I'm proud to be there. Our crews are proud to be there, and we're happy that we're able to participate. Our final review for the city emergency plan is going to be done this week, and we'll bring it back to you so it can be implemented by May 1st of this year. And just so you know, I'm also preparing for the September 11th. This will be our 3rd annual, so I'll make sure it's going to be the best yet. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you for always coming out and supporting our cleanups, every event that we do. We really appreciate your presence and your participation. Thank you for all you do.
Mm-hmm.
And next we have citizens' comments. I do have comments, but if you are here for item 10.1, which is the 380 hotel or the hotel at 380, then we're going to wait until that item in order to be able to speak. If we have any other public comments at this time, just regular citizens' comments, do we have any? And then you can come up and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, then we will move on to the consent agenda, item 8.1. Does the commission wish to pull any items from the consent agenda? Seeing none, do I have a motion? I have a motion from Vice Mayor.
Make a motion, pass the consent agenda, Mayor.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Llewellyn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Consent agenda passes unanimously. Thank you, Commission. Next, we will move on to item 9, bids and requests for proposals. Eve, if you could please read item 9.1.
Yes, Mayor. A resolution of the City Commission authorizing the ranking of consultant firms that responded to the request for qualifications 25-4 entitled Resiliency Plan Reissued, and selecting Chen Moore and Associates as the first ranked firm providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. This is a community development item.
Good evening.
Good evening, Corinne LaJoy, Deputy Director of Community Development. This was a request for qualifications for the creation of our resiliency plan. There were 10 firms that responded. The top-rated firm was Chin Moore, and so what's before you today is a resolution asking the City Commission to allow staff to start negotiating a contract for a resiliency plan. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions from the commission? Do I have a motion? Vice Mayor?
I'd like to pass 9.1, Mayor.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second from Commissioner Llewellyn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Item 9.1 passes unanimously. Now we are on to item 10. Eve, if you would please read item 10.1.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a resolution of the City Commission approving the site plan for the special exception design variations and 2 variances submitted by the owners of 380 Dania Plaza LLC for the property generally located at 380 South Federal Highway in the city of Dania Beach, providing for conditions, conflict, and an effective date. And before I stop speaking, I just wanted to give a general synopsis of how the process works. I will swear in anybody who's going to be giving testimony. This is a quasi-judicial public hearing. And after swearing in, I will also be asking the commission if they have any disclosures. Because this is a public hearing where there's a quasi-judicial decision happening, all of the decision must happen here. So the disclosures are for anybody in the community, any applicant, any developer, et cetera, who has reached out to any of the commissioners. You need to state who, what, where, when, why, basically, and whether you can remain impartial after the disclosure. After that, the staff will be presenting their slideshow and any testimony that they have, including any experts that they have. Then the developer would be given the opportunity to speak with any of his or her experts. Thereafter, the mayor will open it up to public comments, and everybody can be provided 3 minutes to provide public comments on the application. That matter would then be closed to public comments and the deliberation of the mayor and city commission and a final vote.
Thank you, Eve, for providing clarity on the process so we can move forward with.
Anyone who's going to be testifying then, can you raise your right hand? Including any staff members or anybody in the public who wants to speak on it.
Any residents that have submitted.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you so much. And as far as the mayor and commission, is there any disclosure that needs to be made at this time, or have you had any communications with anybody from the community or the developer?
Yes, I have a disclosure. I attended the meeting. I think it was a public meeting at one of the hotels with all of the residents. I've also met and spoken with the developer, and I can remain impartial. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay, hold on then.
I've spoken to the developer by phone, and I've gotten some emails from residents.
Okay, and we'll just add those emails at the end, if we don't mind, to the record so we have it, should there be any challenges. Thank you.
I also, some time ago, I spoke with representatives from the developers as well as residents in the neighborhood, and I have no conflicts.
Thank you.
And yes, I have also spoken to the developer in a meeting, and I have also received a couple of emails from residents, and I can remain impartial.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, I spoke with the developer, and I spoke with several residents regarding this, and I can remain impartial. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Viviana Batista, Planning and Zoning Manager. And before you tonight is the application for 380 South Federal Highway for Dania Plaza with the applications for site plan, special exception, 2 variances, and 2 design variations. The property is within the existing zoning district, which is the South Federal Mixed Use, and the future land use is the Regional Activity Center. It is a 0.67 acres. The existing use is a motel, and there are no open violations on the property. The property itself is located in a peninsula and it's fronted by 3 streets, which is Southwest 3rd Place to the north, South Federal Highway to the east, and Southwest 4th Street to the south. As I mentioned, the property is being used as a motel, and the site is being surrounded by multifamily residential to the north, single family to the west, historically designated property to the south, and commercial uses to the east. The application was received on February 3rd, 2022, which allows the project to utilize the land development regulations from the former code with incentives that were placed at that time before the City Commission removed them and eliminated them from the code. And that's the reason why this project has incentives before you tonight. This is the existing condition of the property. And the request for you tonight is for site plan approval for 6-story, 79-room hotel that includes parking garage with 60 on-site parking stalls, 2 on-street parking spaces, and a ground cafe for 799 square feet. It includes 2 variances relating to trees and landscaping, 2 design variations relating to parking and upper story setbacks, as well as the special exception to allow the use for hotel in this district. Excuse me. As I mentioned, this is a project site plan and its location. It's fronted by 3 streets. And this is the rendering of the project, how it would be the final product of the development. The request includes 2 design variations. One of them is for the first layer on the north fronting of the property on Southwest 3rd Place. The request is to allow a parking garage facing the street instead of providing activity uses on the first layer. And the second request is for upper story setbacks to allow a 0 upper story setback on the north elevation. And the code requires them to provide a 14 feet setback beyond the 3rd level. They are providing that on the south elevation, but they cannot provide it to the north because of fire egress access. The applicant has provided justification stating the reasons why they're requesting this design variation, and they meet the criteria from the code, and the staff analysis is in the staff report. As well as the variances request tonight is for 2 reasons. One is for the category of the trees. They're proposing to provide 2 and 4 categories 2 and category 4 trees, where the code requires them to provide category 1, and as well as the perimeter landscape requirement, the code requires them to install inside of the wall on the west boundary, and they're proposing to have the landscape outside the wall. The applicant has provided justification and explains the need of the variances, and it's included in the staff analysis and the staff report. The special exception request before you tonight is because the code requires for these use to request this as extra step approval, and it states that the review of the application is determined by the special exception. The use will not cause any detrimental impact to the contiguous uses. All lodging, parking, and amenities are conducted within the confines of the building. The proposal of the hotel is located where it used to be established and is operating as well as other lodging uses in the area. In addition, the use provides adequate parking and loading. The applicant removed all back-out parking as is proposing only access on Southwest 4th Street, and all the traffic is channeled to move east, not west, like it would have been led to the neighborhood. It's only to move east. And they're providing the landscape required, and they met all the criteria from this special exception request, and it's included as well in the staff report. In regards to the development incentives, the applicant is proposing the use of 2 incentives, as I mentioned, from the form-based code to obtain 2 additional stories. So when they applied for this, seeking the development of the sustainable building practices, the code would have allowed them for 4 stories, but out of those 4, they're only requesting 2, and they're allowed to build 4 by right, for a total of 6 stories. For these to meet the standard, the applicant is achieving the LEED Silver level certification. The applicant must provide, before the issuance of a building permit, to post a bond, to provide notarized affidavits for the project architect to certify the green building professionals are involved in the team, and as well as to provide plans detailing all green measures proposed and established at the site. In addition to this request, the applicant is also implementing parking reduction strategies. Excuse me. The code requires for these use to provide 64 parking spaces. They're providing 62, but actually they are asking to reduce 6 parking spaces for taking into consideration the transportation demand strategy. For that, the applicant is proposing to provide sheltered, secure bicycle storage facilities, employee showers and changing facilities, and have demonstrated that they have a bus shelter within 300 feet from the site. The applicant also has demonstrated that they have preliminary drainage report and plans within the DRC process, and their design meets the enhanced stormwater entrance design standards. The site plan identifies 20% of land for pervious area where the code requires only 15%. And the item has been reviewed by the Development Review Committee 5 times, February 24, 2022, September 22, July 23, April 24, and August 2024. And disciplines from the DRC team have reviewed the plans, and they have still several outstanding comments that can be conditions of approval into this resolution, and they must be addressed before the permit is issued. As of the budgetary impact, the site plan will enable the city's tax roll expanding it, and also they would be required to pay for public art impact fee and for the RAC impact fee. The item meets and supports the city's comprehensive plan by furthering the permitted use to be mixed uses, commercial uses, and employment center, as well as encouraging development and to enhance the tax in the community. The applicant conducted 3 public outreaches, the first one on September 2023 via Zoom. Some of the residents connected, but not everybody had the opportunity to participate, and that's why they also conducted, days after, September 19, 2023, a second community outreach where the community had the opportunity to voice their concerns about the project. Originally, the applicant was proposing a 6 stories because of the incentives allowed him, and a 90-room hotel based on the applicant's based on the community's concerns. The applicant responded to the residents and reduced the size of the hotel from 90 rooms to 79 rooms, as well as providing better setback, and with that reducing design variations that were requested previously and are not applicable anymore because they redesigned the project. Based on that, the last community outreach the applicant conducted was in October 2024, and it was conducted in person. Community had the opportunity as well to participate, and it was a better reception of this new product the applicant produced. As of tonight, the Community Development Department is recommending approval of the resolution for the variances, design variations, and special exceptions in the site plan, providing that the remaining DRC comments are made conditions of approval and must be addressed prior to the issuance of the permit. And I'm available if you have any comments, as well as the applicant is here to address any questions and make their presentation as well.
Thank you, Claudia, for your wonderful presentation, or thorough presentation. Vice Mayor, you have a comment? Let's go ahead and go to public comment. We'll go ahead and go to public comment first. Bruno Morin, if I said that properly. If you please come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm sorry, do you want to hear from the applicant first so that they have all the information before the public comments go forward? That way there's no...
Let's go ahead and do that. I'm sorry, Mr. Morin. I'm going to let the developer do, if you have any response or maybe, come on up, come on. I will wait until let the developer.
That way everybody in the audience has all the information.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Attorney, City Manager, and City Clerk. I'm not the developer. I am the architect of the project. Thank you, staff. Oh my gosh, what an amazing presentation. And obviously, thank you, the community, for engaging in the process. Let me just I don't want to add too much to this project, but I do want to speak on the type of effort that we put forward, right? The type of architecture that my firm does and the type of architect that I am. First and foremost, we're trying to create a good urban citizen, right? And that's kind of weird to say, the urban citizen, building as a citizen. However, if we zoom out a little bit and a building of this scale, it serves as just that, as acting as a citizen of the community. Now, as these meetings progressed, I like to say yes to everybody, right? I like to say yes to staff, and they did an amazing job. Again, I like to say yes to the community, and we did. We said yes a lot. We changed the designs various times, and I think we came up with a really good solution, and we have ample support from the community to back that up for the very few times that we weren't able to fully accommodate the project. I think we can still approach it from finding some sort of common ground, right? When the captain came up, that was quite inspiring, right? The eyes, what is it called?
Eye in the sky.
Eye in the sky. I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a book on architecture called Eyes on the Street by Jane Jacobs. It's the same idea, and it works, right? So that was very inspiring. And what does that mean as far as this building goes in creating an urban citizen? The common ground that we can find is that there really is no place in Dania Beach for crime, vandalism, drugs, right? And that's our common ground. Even the people that are against or not completely in favor of this building, they can come to an agreement that this is better than what's there now, which is a potential safe haven for just those things, right? Because we don't have eyes on the sky in that corner, right? And this building on day one will eliminate that. It would completely clean up that corner and sort of move and be more consistent with the image and the reputation of this Dania Beach. Not the Dania Beach of 50 years ago, but just drive down Federal Highway. You will see many buildings that are consistent with this sort of thing, this product that we're putting forward, and definitely not the motel that exists there now, right? So when the community comes up, when you guys vote, I ask that you take that into consideration, that, hey, what is there now versus what's here? And just to reiterate before I open up staff's, the reason why I was saying yes, right? We were able to say yes to parking on the street, right? Ubers, taxis, they will not be going into the neighborhood to drop anybody off. We have parking right in front of our building. We've put mechanisms in place to avoid right turns into the community. There's only left turns towards Federal Highway. So we're completely eliminating any further strain on these secondary streets. And probably the most important, right, and to me at least, and I'm sure to this esteemed panel, is the fact that we are able to put forward a building that takes advantage of sustainable practices. Again, something that is more consistent with Dania Beach than anything else. I mean, we do projects all over. We do projects in Deerfield. We do projects, and Dania Beach is probably one of the very few that offered us this opportunity, give us some incentive to put forward a sustainable building. And I think that's because there is a wind of change going on in Dania Beach, and we can see it, right? We can see it in Federal Highway. We can see it in the parks that were mentioned. And that's what I have to say. When you do come up to speak, think about not only the things that might be a little short-sighted in the immediate effect of a construction of this scale, but what does this mean 10 years from now for Dania Beach? Not what it means 9 months from now during construction. It's inconvenient. Construction is inconvenient. But what does it mean 5 to 10 years down the road? Is this better than the building that's there now? Is this better than that rinky-dinky motel? Because if we don't change, we can expect the same results. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you. Laura, we should just turn on we're not gonna over 3 minutes for each comment going forward. Sorry. Thank you. Is there any other comment from the developer that wishes to add to this?
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mayor. Hello, Commissioners. Hello, staff. So just to add to the...
Your name and address, please.
Sassi Chacham, and I live in Hollywood, but my business is here in 380 South Federal Highway. So just to add to the architect things that he told you guys, and I know you guys don't understand the code, we've been trying to develop this since 2015. Now, that being said, we went over the code to develop this. There's no other way to develop this unless this hotel, and let me explain you why. To reduce the amount of floors from 6 to 4, that means that the code will deny this automatically. The minimum rooms for hotels in Dania are 75. If you propose a hotel less than 75, the code don't allow it. So even if we wanted to reduce the floors to 4 stories, we cannot approve a hotel without this incentive because the code say minimum 75 rooms. In Hollywood, it's a minimum of 100 rooms. To operate a hotel, and I think that if somebody in the hotel business, they will know, no one will operate a hotel less than 100 rooms. So 75 rooms, it's pretty low for a new hotel. Now, this hotel is a boutique hotel with KitchenAids that will accommodate to other, public, then not all of the hotel in Dania have that kitchen. Long story short, there is no other development that's going to be able to develop in this location except this development, because if you want to develop a 4-story building, your code say that the ground floor cannot be resident and only commercial, and commercial parking is required a lot of parking. We cannot fit it. From 2015, we're trying to find a development that will fit this location, and it's very difficult. So if you guys want to change the corridor of US 1 and have a nice, face to Dania City and a nice face to the corridor, I think that's the proposal that we're proposing right now will be the best. Now, we try to satisfy many of the public. And I know that you guys care about the public, and we also care about the public. So we had reached the publics in the last 3 years, in the last 2 years, in the last 1 year. We do have about 70 signatures supported, but we will never going to be able to satisfy everybody. There's always going to be somebody that will be against. So that being said, most of the people that with this project usually don't come to these meetings. They just sign the paper and they have the paper signed, but usually they don't come to these meetings. People that are against the project usually show up to the meeting. If anybody have any question for me, go ahead.
Thank you. Right on time. All right, we are moving along. If we can go back to Mr. Bruno, if you would come back up and please state your full name and address for the record, please.
I'm Bruno Morin, 362 Southwest First Ave, and I guess we had a nice, quiet neighborhood until all this is going to start, and most people that are for this, it's because it's not happening in their backyard.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bruno Marin. That was under 3 minutes. And so we will move on to the next one, Mr. Michael Scott. If you could please, you're good. Mr. Scott is good. All right. We will now move on to Robert Sims. Mr. Sims, if you would please come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, Robert Sims, 32 Southwest 4th Street. I've been against this from day one. Let's talk about the eye in the sky. If I stand in my backyard, the eye in the sky is going to be a hotel. I'm looking at a hotel. I mean, I've lived there for 40 years. You have the Frost House next door, which is a historic house, and you're going to have this thing making the Frost House look like nothing. I mean, we have over 500 people that have signed a petition against this from back in October when we did this first meeting at the hotel. He's talking about putting signs up where people can't come down a residential neighborhood. Signs mean nothing for anybody driving. So, yeah, I'm against it 100%.
Thank you, Mr. Sims, for voicing your concerns. Next, we have Mr. Ted Kay. If you please come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
And my name is Ted Kay, 355 Southwest 2nd Avenue, Dania. And I just want to let you know, the people have empowered you all to make some pretty tough decisions. You have to do what's best for the city, and you also have to protect the people, the neighborhoods. That's a tough job. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but you got to think about that. And I have a question. Who is the hotel chain owner of this project? You mean tell me they're specking? You got to be kidding me. You guys are specking this place? Gee whiz. So then a hotel person buys this from somebody and they come to you
I'm
and
not
ask
sure
you
that
for
we are
2 more
clear on what
stories.
you're asking there. It's not a hotel chain, it's just individually owned as far as.
Are they gonna own it?
It's, you're building the hotel first, then.
I'm sorry, let him
You
come
need
to the
to come to the
microphone. We
mic.
can't have that kind of.
How are you?
Yeah, okay.
So usually you develop a hotel like that and then you find a chain. If you find a chain before, it's becoming an issue like the code for the city, there's a code for a chain. Usually you don't find them before, because if you find them before, you're looking at another 5 to 10 years until you agree with them. So usually you build a hotel and then you find a chain. And I think Marco in this business, also know that you build a hotel, you're making the product, and then you bring a chain. This chain will be an extended stay chain, like any extended chain, Holiday Inn Express, Holiday Inn Garden, any extended stay chain.
But right now, it's just a boutique hotel.
Exactly. And if
Okay.
you don't have
I
a
think
chain,
that's what we needed clarification on. So, Mr. Kay, if you could come back and you can reclaim your time.
Okay, thank you very much. My biggest concerns would be is how they're going to construct as far as usable space. I was a general contractor and know it takes room. You're going to have to block streets. We need a plan for that, how it's going to be done. Also, the people that used to live in Archie Black's house, I don't know the name of the person anymore, but it's the house behind it to the west. They're going to have a 20 or 30 or 40 or 50-foot wall 10 feet from there. It's not really protecting the neighborhood. I want you all to consider that. And if you do decide to do this, please make sure don't relinquish any bit on parking. And because they're going to be parking all over our street, and I live on that street, it's going to be a problem. When they're building, they have a lot of people working, maybe 30, 40 cars where they're going to park. All this has to be taken into consideration before you approve something like this. So if you do approve it, I just want to make sure you take this into consideration. You have good setbacks with landscaping and no giving up anything on parking, because we know that's going to be a problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kay, and I believe that is all the public comment. Oh, we have one more. Sir, if you could please come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Erwin Bach. I'm the president of the Royal Palm Gardens Condominium Association, directly north of this hotel. We share the alleyway. I'm for it. I've met with the developer. They've changed their site plans to meet our concerns of the residents with setbacks, with shrubbery on the pool. They didn't want you know, residents voiced concern they didn't want people looking into the apartments. From what I can tell you, it could only be an improvement to the neighborhood. We have transients. I mean, I can flood you with pictures of people urinating in the alley, drug deals, and with, you know, BSO cannot be there 24/7. And to all the residents who are concerned about this 72-room hotel, whatever it is, a lot of people don't know that the property north of us, there's another hotel, the Ferris Court. It wanted to build a 100-room hotel, and the city, you know, I don't know if it expired or whatever, but that was their plan, okay? And a lot of you know, people not wanting this hotel came from that. And from my personal experience, the owner of that Ferris Court Hotel was against this. I only can encourage you to clean up Federal Highway, okay? We're moving in the future. We're not living in the past, okay? We need that. We need young families coming in, and when they drive down Federal Highway, they look at what's there, and they don't want it, okay? It will only improve the neighborhood. It will improve the prices of housing in the neighborhood, okay? The tax base will go up, and I really don't see a downside. I think it's a reasonable project, and that's the key word. Is it reasonable? Okay, and it is more reasonable than unreasonable, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else from the public? Please come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Bajal Chadva, 2637 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. I'm speaking today because I do have a property on that road, Southwest 4th Street. So my one concern, among a few others, but the main one I want to talk about is the height of the building. The current code restricts it to 4 floors. I do understand they submitted the application when incentives were allowed, but then it would be the only 6th-floor building in the entire the Federal Highway mixed-use district, because all the future buildings will be 4. If this 6th-floor building is approved, I believe it's possible that other developers in the future will ask for a text amendment to change the 4 floors to 6, using this building as justification, as saying, hey, there's already 1, let us build 1 too at 6 floors. And if my memory serves me right, last year in the March meeting, the commission did reduce it to 4 floors to slow down the growth during when the 4,000 rack units were being voted for approval. So that is my main concern with this project, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comments? Please state your name and address for the record.
Margaret Rust, 34 Southwest 6th Street, Dania. I just purchased a home at this address last June, and I've been renovating the house since October. So I really have not been part of the process, but I do know that one of the neighbors I've spoken to was active in getting signatures that oppose the project. My concern, I can see that there's some merit in improving the neighborhood. I think that 6 stories is very tall and would definitely make a change in the neighborhood in which I purchased the home, because I like the older buildings and the residential feel of it. And I think it would definitely increase residential traffic. I live on 6th Street, and there's already a lot of traffic up and back and forth between Federal and 2nd Avenue. So I I'm objecting to the 6 floors also. And then I do have concerns if this goes ahead about whether there are adequate protections for residents in terms of noise mitigation and residential traffic and parking, because there are going to be a lot more workers and there's going to be construction noise going. I don't know what the hours are that are proposed, but I think it would be very disruptive to have construction from 7 in the morning till 6 in the evening. And this is only a couple of blocks from where I live. So that's all.
Thank you so much for your comments. I believe we may have one more. Sir, please come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Caleb Boatman, and I live on 500 Northeast 2nd Street. I appreciate the chance to speak with you this evening regarding the proposed redevelopment of the older motel site into a modern hotel. I support this project because I believe it represents a forward-thinking investment in our community. The current structure, while it has served its time, no longer meets what I believe the standards or potential what this area can offer. A new hotel would bring a variety of benefits to Dania Beach. First and foremost, an economic boost through job creation and increased tax revenue. During both construction and operation, it would provide employment opportunities for local residents. Additionally, I believe a modern hotel would attract a wider range of visitors looking for quality accommodations, which in turn support local restaurants, shops, and businesses. This kind of development helps strengthen our local economy and keeps tourism dollars right here in our community. Beyond economics, a well-designed hotel can enhance the visual appeal of a neighborhood, complementing the city's ongoing efforts to revitalize and modernize its public spaces. It would reflect the kind of clean, professional images that makes residents proud and visitors impressed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment, sir. We got one more. Sir, please come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Solomon Kayam.
Come up a little further, sir.
My name is Solomon Kayam, 340 Southeast 3rd Street, Dania Beach. This hotel that's proposed to be built is very similar to the other hotels that have been built. And if you realize in the evenings, the place is alive, the hotel lobbies are filled with people, the bars are visible from the street. It just adds life to Dania Beach. Also, going down Dania Beach Boulevard, the 2 rental communities that were built, the whole look and atmosphere is totally different as you're going to the beach. We need that type of new look here. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, sir. And I think we're going to go ahead and move on to commission comments. And so, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hold on. We're going to go ahead and close the public comment at this time. So we have no further public comment. And Vice Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mayor and Commission, I was through this back in 2018 we started building buildings that were a little taller than people liked. And the city attorney, you can correct me if I'm wrong on some of the things I'm going to say, but, the 6 stories that are allowed on US 1 right now are allowed because this ordinance was designed long before any of us were up on commission to bring development to the city of Dania, not knowing what was going to happen and how much we were going to develop. As you know, or some of you do know, we've stepped up and we've stopped the higher buildings. But the problem is that this, if you want to call it a problem, is that they applied for the permit and the incentives before we changed the ordinance. And what I want the city attorney to confirm on me is that if we did not allow them, if they followed the code, that we could be sued for the price of the property. And that would fend to the taxpayers and back. And that's what I was told by the city attorney, Tom Answer, that has passed. So sometimes we don't have, even though you don't want it, maybe we don't either, there are rules that we have to follow. And
I'm not, one thing about this project that I'm not happy about is I don't like, when I understand it correctly, is the parking, I mean, the exit and entrances on 4th Street, where it should be, I feel it should be on US 1, the same as the other hotel right across the street from us and not affect the neighborhoods. It's unfortunate for people that live in areas that have issues that pop up like this. You know, I live in Melica Gardens and I deal with the airport noise every single day, and I oppose the airport, but that didn't stop the airport from expanding and all the construction that's going on in my neighborhood because the terminals are being built. It's progress, and unfortunately for all of us in the city, because we're building faster than we anticipated. But we did step up this year and change all the ordinances, so any future buildings coming up, there is a height restriction, a density restriction. And, you know, we did listen and we did understand the residents. But unfortunately, on this particular job, unless I'm incorrect, 6 stories is allowed. And there's not much that I don't think we're going to be able to do to vote against it unless we want to get sued by the developer. That's the harsh way of saying it. They're not telling you that. We didn't bring it up. But I'm just letting you know how tough it's been, because I've been through this before. And it's a lot of argument and fighting, but the right thing to do would be to follow the ordinance, follow the rules, and have them build the best possible building that they can build to make it accommodate the area. Nobody wants to look at a wall 6 stories in front of them. I sure don't want to, but I sure don't want to be sued either. So, you know, I think my comments have pretty much addressed what's going on, other than my disagreement where if I'm wrong, I'd rather have the entrance on Federal Highway and keep it off the residential neighborhood. And as addressing some of the things that were brought up, I thought was some good things from Mr. Kay. You know, you're right. When that construction starts, I think we're going to have to figure out a way with the community development that those construction workers are going to have to park someplace else and be shuttled in and not involve the neighborhood, because if they do, they will be cited because we don't have all that parking available and so on. And I will step up to that as a commission and enforce that with our community development and our police department, because we are not going to let them trash the city while they're developing, whether it was 4, 5, or 6 stories. You know, any other concerns and noise concerns, it doesn't go from 7 in the morning to 6 at night. I think we have an hour restriction. Eleanor or Corinne could probably tell you that. Or I think it stops at 5 o'clock or something like that and starts at 7:30 or something like that. 7 to 5. Is it 7 to 7 during the weekdays or? During the weekday, okay. Well, longer days, faster it gets built. You know, so I mean, there's the concerns that the residents have. I'm sorry that, you know, I'm going to vote by the rules and the laws that are designed by the city commission. That was designed probably back when maybe you, Mr. Kay, were on the board at that time when these ordinances got passed. I don't know for sure who was there, but you understand it because you've been here and done that. And you know, the rules are there, the rules need to be followed, and, you know, and that's what I have to say. But I would kind of ask the developers to reconsider putting I know it's a lot of extra work and possibly a different, you know, way, but to put the entrance and exit on US 1. Did you? No, you can't. You're done. You guys talk too much. I talk a lot. You talk more than me.
Good evening. Corinne LaJoy, Deputy Director of Community Development. I wanted to take an opportunity to address some of the things that I've heard discussed. With regards to parking, because it is a hotel use, Dania Beach is so uniquely located next to an international airport and seaport, and we get a lot of visitors that come in from those 2 facilities. And very often, they do not have cars with them. They use rideshare, and they're only here for a day or 2, especially if they're catching a cruise ship in or out of town. They usually don't have automobiles with them. And there's actually a national trend at the moment of eliminating parking requirements completely because it's an inefficient use of land and we're not seeing as many vehicles, particularly with a hotel type of use. There is, you know, the ride share is what they utilize when they don't have their own vehicles.
Can I interrupt you on that one subject, though?
Absolutely.
You know, a perfect example is our parking garage. We sub out parking to the hotel, and the floor is not even being used because nobody's driving in.
Right. Then typically we have counted how many parking spaces Hotel Dello uses in our garage. I don't remember exactly how many parking spaces they have, but they're usually around. 7. I'm sorry, how many? 7. No? Yeah, it's like 10 or less, and we've counted, you know, for about 2 weeks, and that's all the cars that we found as a result of that hotel in our garage utilizing their spaces. In addition to that, they The project was proposing transportation demand management as a way to reduce, I think it was 4 parking spaces. There is a bus shelter, a bus stop at the property today, and one of the things that they're doing is building a shelter at that location. And so any of the employees that work either in the hotel or the coffee shop could utilize the existing bus system on Federal Highway, which is pretty robust on Federal. In addition to that, they're also going to have bicycle parking and showers for any employee that bicycles to work. That was kind of the reason why you were able to, the code allows for that reduction. In addition, to address your concern about the access point, this is a form-based zoning district, and it requires that the building be pushed up to the street and automobile movement at the back of the property. So therefore, it doesn't really allow for a driveway to be on Federal Highway. It does require it, and this is one of the few properties that have as many streets that they can utilize. Some properties are landlocked and only have access on Federal, but they do have access on the side streets, which is where the code dictates that access point be provided. As a result, staff require that the applicant provide those channelized ingress, egress to move the traffic to the east to Federal Highway so that we protected that neighborhood as best we could.
Okay.
And one more point, I'm sorry. The concern about parking and with all the construction crew coming during construction, we're doing lots of development. It's a lot of urban form. What we do require is an off-site parking agreement so that the construction, the construction crew does have a place to locate. We think about that in advance before they descend on the site, so there's a place for them to go and not in the neighborhoods.
Thank you for all that explanation, Corinne. That helped a lot.
All right, thank you, Corinne, Vice Mayor. I will move on to Commissioner Romoli.
Thank you, Mayor. Vice Mayor stole my thunder, basically. He said just about almost everything I was going to say, and along with Corinne, but I do want to emphasize, again, the parking situation, that we have been monitoring the hotels that we do have in our downtown area, and they are not utilizing their parking like they expected. It's got a lot of ride shares heading into our parking or to these hotels. So I'm comfortable with the fact that I think we'll start, this will not create a traffic nightmare in your neighborhoods, but it's something that we can address if that were to happen once the hotel is built. I think our city is very responsive to those things, and we will monitor that very, very closely. I am concerned about one point, and I brought this up in my meeting with the folks, and that was the franchise tag. And who they are going to put as a franchise tag on this hotel. As a former hotel GM for Marriott, I really implore you to find a very good flag for this property because that makes a big difference on the quality of person that we're going to have at that hotel. And if you place a Motel 6 flag on that, I'm telling you, it's not going to attract the right people. We need a really strong flag, a Hilton, pardon me? Well, I understand, but you know what? I hear a lot of things from people, and it doesn't really pan out. I'm going to be watching this, and I'm going to be your worst nightmare if this flag is not someone that is really top-notch and full professional. And I also really, I'm glad that Corinne mentioned about the parking for construction. This can be an off-site, so that should take care of that problem. But I really appreciate our residents who come out and do speak on behalf for and against any projects that we have in our city. And Mr. Kaya, you're absolutely right. It's not an easy decision for any of us to make up here. I live here, I work here, and what's important to me is really probably the same things that are important to you as well. But like our Vice Mayor did say, we do have to follow rules and make those decisions based on those rules that we have before us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Romoli. Commissioner Llewellyn.
Thank you, Mayor. Two gentlemen before me said a lot of the same things that I was going to say, and Corinne, thank you for clarifying some of those things, because one of the things I was going to say is I know I've seen with pretty much every project that's been going on in the last several years is that there's always a staging area for the employees. There's always a location where they're supposed to park. If we have an issue where they're not following those rules, they are addressed. And so that's something that we don't have to worry about when construction is going on in any project, because we do make sure that they are following the rules and they are not going into the neighborhoods and parking their vehicles there. there are time limits as to when they can work on the projects because of noise issues. There are times, I will warn people in advance, that they do have to request special permits in order to go beyond those times. If there's a concrete port, for example, they start early. So it's earlier than usual. It doesn't last forever, but it does happen. And that's something that I think people do need to know about when there is construction going on, because I don't think everybody realizes that when they think that they're just going to be following the rules for going certain times. Something in particular that I know about this particular property, and I'm glad that the board president's here from Royal Palm. That building in particular, I've had a lot of contact with over the years. And one of the biggest complaints that they've had has been about the crime, the drugs, the just things that are just going on that are unsavory, to the point that I've actually worked with BSO and them to put people together so that our community relations deputies would go and spend time there and work with them to figure out what they could do to maybe improve the environment. But as the gentleman said earlier, they can't be there 24/7, and there are issues in that neighborhood. One of the things that we all talked about, we just did a strategic planning session, and I think every single one of us wanted to improve US 1. That was our biggest goal, I think, was the one area that really needs improvement is US 1. The appearance, the crime factors, homelessness, a lot of things that are going on across US 1 that just doesn't look like the rest of the city. And this to me seems like exactly what we're trying to do, is trying to bring us into the future and modernize the area, make it an improvement, so that I think somebody said here tonight, so, you know, it will bring people in to actually want to be part of this community, as opposed to driving through the community and being a little confused, especially when you see something like Dania Point, or you go down Dania Beach Boulevard now. So I know it's a goal that we all have, because we've already talked about it in our strategic planning sessions. So, and I know that we all have that goal because not just we see it, but our residents are speaking to us about it. So if that's what everybody wants, I understand it's hard when it's in your own neighborhood, but there are things that we need to do in order to move in that direction, in order to make the improvements that need to be made. So we will watch this and make sure that things are being followed, just like we do with other projects. I agree with Commissioner Rommel, and I appreciate his commentary on this, because I know he has a big background in this field. But you know, it needs to be done right. It needs to be done so that it fits what our vision is. And that's really the most important thing. We don't want to end up having the same old kind of stuff that's been here forever. We need to make things classier and aesthetically better, and bring in a better quality, so that we don't have these problems that they've had next door at the apartment complex. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Llewellyn. Commissioner Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, thank you to the residents for coming out here today. Thank you for the developers coming out here today, speaking your piece regarding this project. I've been over this before. I spoke to the city manager about it. This area is, it's a different area, okay? When we're talking about US 1 and Dania Beach, I like to break it down to the north and the south, okay? Everything north of Sterling Road and in Dania on US 1, everything north on US 1 and Sterling is kind of meant for that, right? That's like the airport and the cruise ship area, a lot of hotels there. It makes sense, okay? And that's what's been built over there. It's been what's going up over the past several years. When you get south of Sterling on US 1 in Dania, you get it's residential. It's very residential. And these lots are unique, you know, because only the commercial lots are fronting US 1. And this one is a unique lot because it's fronting 3 streets, but it goes deep. It goes deep, right? You know, if you guys look at this property, there's a single family home right next to it, like literally right next to it. So once we build a 6-story hotel over there, like, a 6-story hotel is not going to be the answer to saving our neighborhood, especially in that area. Those houses have been there for, some of those houses have been there for over 100 years. So that's what I'm saying. It's just, it's too close to a residential area for me. And I know that our city has an ordinance with the parking, and I wish that we could work with that. Corinne, you said there's some cities that are just eliminating the parking altogether for hotels specifically, right? I would like to see the city maybe explore something like that with these developers. They've, worked on it for 10 years now. And I think that would be beneficial to them from a construction standpoint. They don't have to build an extra 2 stories for parking. And I think it'll be beneficial for the residents also, because now they won't have a 6-story building, they'll have a 4-story building and a hotel on that corner. It's good to see improvement in the neighborhood, but, at what cost? And I understand that they're utilizing the old code from when they had the application, and that's understandable. But when I spoke with the developers, they weren't too thrilled about building the 2 stories for parking as well. So maybe that's something that the city can review on what we could do and change our ordinances for the future and for this project as well. And those are my thoughts on this project. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan. I want to thank my colleagues for very thoughtful comments and really in-depth analysis of this project. I will start by saying that I did attend the October 22nd meeting in 2024. I believe it was the True Hotel or one that was very close on US 1. And that room was filled with residents, a lot more than are here today. I do believe having the input from the residents is one of my number one concerns, making sure that you don't just feel like we're just here to develop everyone, every corner and every street that we possibly can. I did listen to the privacy concerns. Those were huge concerns that you don't want people, they didn't want people looking into their windows or feel like you have this big, hotel and they don't want, that would affect their privacy. But it does concern me, and please clarify this if I got this wrong, but this would be the only 6th-story building on that entire block, and no other building would be that height. So I am concerned about aesthetics, because aesthetics for me means that it's balanced development. So I don't, if you're looking at making something aesthetically pleasing and then all of the rest of the homes are residential, as Commissioner Ryan said, and then you just have one 6-story building, I'm concerned about the look and the balance of that. And Corinne, please feel free to address that. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. As somebody said, because the incentives have been removed, no project will now be able to gain the incentives to get to the 6-story height, so that part is correct. However, the AMO that exists, both the AMO training facility and across the street, the Union, is at higher building height. I believe the AMO on the west side is at 4 stories, and I think the Union building is at 3. So there is a little bit of height, but yes.
Okay, and then to the point for the Pompano Beach man, since you're up here, the gentleman from Pompano Beach, he came up here and said, since we had those, we removed those incentives for the 6 stories, so the highest it could go now is 4, and would that then, set a precedent for people to come in and ask for special favors for people or developers to then try to seek that 6 stories?
I would actually refer that to the city attorneys. The reality is a developer will always ask for whatever they want, regardless of where it is. So it doesn't have to be here, it could be anywhere. And we see that all the time. Developers are coming in for changes, whether it's 1 story down on Dania Beach Boulevard or, that's speculation.
That's just, well, I do see the potential for that. So I think you've answered my question. So I really do have a hard time having something that is just going to stick out individually. I do not like slum and blight in that area currently right now. I've driven through that neighborhood, and it is, there's a lot of concerns with what's going on at that current hotel right now as it is. So I really know that there needs to be an improvement. I think that is something that everybody can agree on, is that what is there now is not the kind of Dania Beach that we're moving towards. Our strategic plan, as Commissioner Llewellyn said, is that we are trying to improve that area. So at this juncture, it's a very, very difficult decision for me, and I believe that is going to be my, Vice Mayor. Hold on, Vice Mayor.
Just to say a couple things in general about the six-story building being a standout. It's going to be the tallest building out there because of the new ordinance, because I don't think there's anything else that's been applied for. But, it's not going to be 6 stories and then 4. I mean, there's 3-story buildings, there's 4-story buildings, they're through there. And it's just like any other city. You look at a vision and you see a view, it's up and down. So it's not, we're making it sound like as if there's a sword thumb in there, and it's just the one building in the middle. Yes, it's going to be 2 stories higher than the highest one that's there, but I don't think because the other buildings that are on that road, and somebody may come in and build a 3-story building next to it, and there may be, Yeah, so, Royal Palm is 3 stories. His building there is 3 stories right next to it. So it's not this, and this. It's like any other horizon of buildings. So that's all I had to say. I don't want to make it sound like it looks super bad. We understand that you don't want 6 stories. We understand that it's there, but it is just a rule. And I don't know how you can avoid not passing it unless we want to put the city in a liable situation. So that's my point. Thank you, Mayor.
City Attorney, can you speak to the liability of the city on this kind of issue?
So I never will admit in public that there's liability because I am the city attorney and I'm defending you. So I will never say that. I will tell you this. There are land development regulations. We have to adhere to those. If we do not adhere to those, there is a chance we can be sued. And we have to make sure that we have a record to support the decision that is being made. Right now, we have a record supported by competent substantial evidence in support of the application.
Thank you. One more. Commissioner Romoli.
This is going to be real quick, Mayor. I'm sorry. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I will also say for us to take a look at the architecture of this building. I think that's an important factor in when you're talking about 6 floors. This doesn't look like a 6-floor building when I look at it because of the way the architecture is designed. And I think that makes a big difference. If it was a box straight up and down, I don't know. I'd venture to say let's get sued. But, I think this is the class that we're trying to bring to our city, where you have people thinking out of the box with beautiful buildings, architecturally beautiful, and also, I should say, sustainably, a sustainable building, which is really an important factor these days when you're building anything, whether it's an office building or a hotel. And I just think from a visual standpoint, if that hotel comes close to what the visual looks like, I think it's just going to be a really beautiful piece for our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Romoli. City Clerk.
No motion. I'm needing a motion.
Do I have a motion? We are in need of a motion from Commissioner Llewellyn.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion from Commissioner Llewellyn to approve item 10.1. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second from the Vice Mayor. City Clerk, please call it to a vote.
Commissioner Llewellyn?
Yes.
Commissioner Romoli?
Oh, sorry.
Push the button.
Wait a minute. Hold on, I had to put my glasses on. Commissioner Romoli?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Ryan?
Hold on.
No.
Vice Mayor Salvino,
Yes. Yes,
Mayor Davis.
No.
that's amazing. That
Mayor, the motion carries 3-2.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to item 11, which is first reading ordinances. There are none, so we will move on to second reading ordinances, 12.1. Eve, if you could please read item 12.1.
Yes, Mayor. An ordinance of the City Commission to amend Chapter 28 Land Development Code by amending Article 105 Use Regulations for Residential and Open Space Zoning Districts at Section 105-160 Accessory Buildings and Structures, creating Section 105-260 Accessory Dwelling Units, amending Article 275 Definitions at Section 72530 Terms Defined, Article 230, Special Floor Area Building Dimension and Building Size Standards, Section 23050, Maximum Allowable Floor Area for accessory buildings and structures in the E1, RS 18,000, RES 12,000, RS 8,000, the NBHD, RFS, RMH, and RD 8,000 districts, amending Section 230-40 minimum floor areas for dwelling unit and lodger units in order to define accessory dwelling units and to create regulations and design guidelines for accessory dwelling units, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and effective date. This is a community development second reading and public hearing.
Thank you. This is
Corinne, if we could quiet down a little bit in the back. Thank you. Corinne?
I'll be quick. This is second reading, and I made presentation at first reading, and I can do so again if you would like that presentation.
Excuse me, Corinne. Can you please, let's see what's going on. Thank you, City Manager. Go ahead, Corinne.
The only thing I want to add since the first reading is that we did an analysis of the city and the parcels that would allow such an accessory dwelling unit. We found slightly over 1,000 properties that would be eligible in the city. So I thought that might be interesting to know. And I'm available if you have any questions.
This is a public hearing. Does anyone wish to speak on this item? I guess seeing none. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we pass item 12.1.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 12.1 passes unanimously. We will move on then to item 13, discussion and possible action. Eve, if you could please read item 13.1.
Yes, ma'am. It's a resolution of the City Commission authorizing the proper city officials to execute an agreement between the city and Lawrence Berry Brown for the purchase of the parcel known as MC Frost Home, located at 400 South Federal Highway, providing for conflicts and an effective date. This is a city manager, city attorney item. In short, you have a pretty extensive history attached memo with the background and the historic nature of the property. We, as you know, the City Commission directed the city manager and I to negotiate. This is one of the properties that we were negotiating on. The purchase price is $2,740,000, which is the median between the two appraised values. And it is, we have a 45-day inspection period. It is an as-is agreement, which means they're not looking to give us a discount if the roof is in bad shape or something, but we'll know that within the 45 days and we can make a final determination whether to proceed. It is the recommendation of the city manager and the city attorney we support this application.
Thank you. I want to add, if I may, through the mayor, Eve and I, this is very exciting for Eve and I, because back in when we were in the village of Palmetto Bay, we were able to invest in a property that was historic. We were able to turn it around, and it's really a shining star for the village of Parks in Palmetto Bay. And we really can see beyond what exists there now to what could actually be there, and it's truly a great opportunity. We're very grateful for the opportunity. And we think it could be truly remarkable.
One last thing, originally, Commissioner Ryan was involved tremendously in contacting the property owner. And from what I understand, the property owner was looking to sell it for more than the appraised value. But because it's for the city, they're willing to sell it at this price.
Thank you for that insight, and thank you, City Manager, City Attorney, and Commissioner Ryan for your part in bringing this forward. Commissioner Ryan?
Yep, there's no further discussion. I would make a motion to approve item 13.1.
We got a motion, or do we have a second?
Second.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Great. Item 13.1 passes unanimously. We will move on to item 13.2.
Would you like me to read the title?
Eve, if you could please read item 13.2. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. It's a resolution of the City Commission to create the City Commission, policy of the City Commission and procedure for budgeted events outside of community grants or discretionary fund policies, providing for conflicts and effective date. This is sponsored by Commissioner Llewellyn. There is a cover memo to the item, and it basically gives you the key points. Would you like me to go through that, Commissioner?
I would, yes.
Okay. The key points is basically we're looking at a cap of $200,000 for all third-party events and organizations, and that's within the discretionary funds of the City Commission, so that would include also your discretionary fund policy. Demonstrating a public purpose would be a requirement for any of these things. There would be no debt could be owed to the city. The event must be in the city. You must have a current nonprofit status. It should be a matching fund requirement. We're not to use the funds to service payroll or internal operations of an entity. It's not for politics. It's not for paying debt. It's not for closed groups, meaning that it should be open to all those who want to participate, and not for alcohol or travel. That documents must be provided, including the tax documents, the latest IRS filing, all of the nonprofit documentation, and that no other city funding is being sought by the applicant. And if they fail to meet all of these, first of all, a report would go back to the City Commission. You would, with a recommendation from the City Manager, if possible. If not, it goes to the Commission for review. And if a decision is made that all of the criteria is not met, there is a prohibition for 10 years for seeking funding from the city. So there would be a process going forward. As of the beginning of June, we would notify, for example, the chamber, the motorcycle club, the seniors clubs, etc., and they would all follow this process and give us the proper documentation. That way they can be placed in the budget just with proper documentation.
Thank you, City Attorney. Commissioner Llewellyn, do you wish to speak further on this item?
I do. Just to kind of give a little background and a little more information on this. The city manager just talked about in her report about some additional expenses that we know are going to be coming up, and a lack of revenue necessarily coming in. I know some people have already had their meetings about the upcoming budget process. Maybe not everybody has at this point. I had been having conversations with the city manager about some of these things and with Jamie. And we know that we're kind of going through some turbulent times right now with our economy, and trying to make sure that we are in a position where if we are putting money out there for certain things, that we are getting the return in our investment, as opposed to putting money out there for things and not necessarily, we really shouldn't be. I can give you examples. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to do any of that, but there have been examples of things where there are events that are held and we're the only sponsor, and there could be more. That this way, it wouldn't be just on us to pay for everything. There are certain organizations that might not even exist because we're putting so much money into it, and we're the only ones putting money into it, including the organization. There are situations where there are scholarships that have been given out to people that are not residents of the city. I could go on. There are a number of different scenarios, and I'm not going to, beat a dead horse or anything. But basically, I'm looking at this. You have to understand. When I was mayor, it was COVID. Okay, and when we had to pivot at that point, and we had to make a decision about where to cut things, where to save on expenses. Prices went up very high. We did not necessarily know if, you had to look day to day, week to week, and see how things were going to happen. We need to look at that now because we are starting to face some more challenging times again. Prices are continuing to go up. And we need to make sure that we have that funding available for the things that we really need it for, and make sure that the people that we're giving the money to are accountable for what we're giving them. And that's really the reason why I'm doing this. And I've been talking to people about it for quite a long time. We've actually put it off a couple of times. I kept trying to put it on the agenda, but it wasn't quite baked. And so now here we are, and I think we're pretty fully baked on it. But just trying to look towards the future and make sure we don't have to raise taxes, making sure that we don't have to do layoffs, making sure that we don't have to cut in areas that that will hurt the city and could cost us services. I'd like to make sure that we're making sure that everybody is accountable in every single department and every single aspect of how we're spending money, including us. And this I think will help us to do that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Llewellyn. Do I have any other comment from the commission? Do I have a motion?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner Llewellyn, for bringing this up on transparency. My only thing after reading it is the event has to be inside the city. I know there's sometimes there's certain events that technically aren't in Dania Beach. Say if we sponsored a golf tournament or something because we don't have a golf course in our city. Does that make sense? I just don't want to.
It does make sense if it's a golf tournament or maybe. If it's a facility or something that we don't have here.
Yeah, I'm saying something like that.
Hold on.
If I could, so this is for the grants, sort of the golf tournament would be coming here for our June 6th application process to get funding. This is not your discretionary funds.
Yeah, no, I understand.
So, and I understood that you were doing the golf tournament, for example, from your discretionary funds, because you're going to be doing.
No, it's just a hypothetical, that's all.
So, the idea was to keep it focused to Dania Beach residents as much as possible. If you want to make an exception, perhaps say if it's outside and you vote for it, it can go outside.
Okay.
I think maybe as long as we're not the sole sponsor, like you said, we can contribute to sponsor, but not to be the sole sponsor.
Right. And when you brought that up, Commissioner Ryan, my thought was about the Prestige Club. Sometimes we have other charities or that we support that obviously do pour in funds and services to Dania Beach, but not every single event that we would sponsor would be in the city of Dania Beach. So I just want to make sure that for me, I think that would still come from our discretionary funds and wouldn't apply to what you're talking about. So I'm fine with that. So
I'm fine too.
All right. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to pass item 13.2.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ryan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Ramoli. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Item 13.2 passes unanimously. Thank you, Commissioner Llewellyn. Thank you, City Attorney. Okay. Almost. And I believe we are on. Yes?
It's 13.3.
13.3. City Clerk.
I'll be very fast. So really quickly, I just wanted to follow up on our last discussion that we had on March 31st regarding this airport committee. I did follow up with this gentleman from the aviation department, and he provided you with a map, which is in your packets, of the site locations and the addresses. Also about how many representatives, we do need 4. If Commissioner Llewellyn is still willing to serve as one of those, which I believe she said was site 3, we will need 3 more to fill. We did reach out to the Airport Advisory Board members, and we've heard back from only one who is interested. She's not really in any of the ranges, but according to Mr. Winston, he said that if we didn't get anybody who was interested, she could serve to fill that, to fill one of those seats. So right now, I just wanted to provide you with that update. If anybody has anybody recommended that they'd like to be on this board as a representative, we certainly can move forward and reach out to them. If not, I would encourage you to just start looking for somebody to serve in any of those site locations.
We will. We'll work on it. We'll work on it,
But that's
City
all I
Clerk.
have for now, Mayor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Now we are on to commission comments, and we will start with Commissioner Llewellyn.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you all for supporting item 13.2. It's something that we've been working really hard on and trying to make sure we do it right. So, and I do appreciate the support. Hope everybody had a wonderful Easter holiday and Passover season. We have been very busy in this city, as I'm sure you've all seen. I have been visiting our beach quite a bit, and I have been to Lucky Fish a few times, and on different days, different times, because, you know, we were business owners at one point and had a restaurant ourselves, and I know they put millions of dollars into that property, and I really would like to see them be successful, as I'm sure we all do. And I will tell you that I'm getting really good feedback from people, but in particular from even the management there and the people who work there. They have basically been telling me that their numbers are much higher than they anticipated, and that on the weekends in particular, they are very close to rivaling their Pompano Beach location, which has a large walkable community and is very busy all the time and has been established for quite some time. So I think it says a lot about what they're doing, but I think it also says a lot about the city and what we've been doing, and the promotion that we've been giving to not only that location, but to our city as a whole, and I think it makes a huge difference. Something else I just want to throw out there was our Easter egg hunt. So I remember probably 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, going to the Easter egg hunt over at Frost Park, and it was little. It was very small. It wasn't really that well attended. There were people coming from different cities, but it was not very well attended. This one, this past weekend, was incredible. It was huge. It was really well attended. There were, I don't know how many hundreds of people there? Had to be hundreds. I don't think it was thousands, but it was definitely in the hundreds. It was a lot of people, and it was warm out, but they didn't care, and they were having a blast. And again, I think this goes to show that as a city, I think, and this is everybody, this is our whole team, in particular our communications team, but I do think it's our whole team because people are so engaged and really liking the things that are happening here. More people want to come here. More people want to spend time here. More people want to bring their families here. And they're following us. They're following our pages. They're following our social media. They're following our website and just looking for any events that we have going on. I saw something, I think it was in the Sun Sentinel, where they were listing a bunch of different things that were going on within a week, and like a third of them were in Dania Beach. So it tells you a lot about what we're doing. And I just thought I'd share some good news. So with that, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Commissioner Llewellyn. Commissioner Romoli.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I will echo everything that Commissioner Llewellyn said. And I mean, I'm always so proud and impressed with our entire staff and what they do each and every day, especially when these events take place, because it's not easy and it's always flawless. It's always done with a smile, and everyone loves what they're doing. So Easter egg hunt was great. The beach cleanup was awesome as well. I had a lot of fun out there. And what was really interesting, I'll go back to the Easter thing. I love asking people where they're from, if they live here or if they're from another city. And I talked to so many people that were from different cities that came here. And they could have gone anywhere, but they came to Dania Beach. So that says something. I'm just really proud of everybody that works here in Dania Beach. And I'm proud of our city. and everything that we're doing to make life much better for our residents. And with that, thank you for this evening and good night.
Thank you. Yes, City Manager.
Thank you for the privilege, Mayor. I had it in my report, but the comments by the commissioners just triggered this. Back in 2019, when I became your manager, we had one certified Parks and Recreation professional. Anthony Fidi just became a professional, certified Parks professional. Cassie Warren, Ashley Vasek, Frankie Lazo. We went from one professional certified Parks and Recreation to 5. This is making a huge difference. And thank you, Mayor, because I forgot to mention that. Thank you so much.
No, it is definitely worth the mention, and the results speak for themselves. You guys rock. So let me move on. Who am I on now? Commissioner Ryan?
Thank you, Mayor. I hope everyone enjoyed Passover and Easter with their families. Happy Earth Day. I heard yesterday was a great turnout. That's exciting. I know Mayor Davis works her butt off for that event, and I'm not going to be here, but I look forward to watching you guys do the ribbon cutting at Mulliken Park. It's going to be nice. So enjoy that, and happy Earth Day, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan. Vice Mayor Salvino.
Well, I hope you guys got a lot of time because I'm going to talk a lot. No. Actually, there's nothing left for me to say because you guys get to say it all before I get here. So I'm good. Thank you for all the things that you guys talked about for the city. There's no need to repeat it 5 times. So, but I appreciate everything that you guys said. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And I'm going to repeat it a million times because I am so excited about all the things that are going on. I will start with my trip to D.C. I was in Washington, D.C. For the African American Mayors Conference, and we had speakers from all over, from Michael Strahan to I won't go into every single speaker, but we had a lot of different speakers that come. We have a lot of different grant opportunities from the EPA. So I love to go to these different professional development conferences because they offer direct resources to the cities through the mayors. And so I had a wonderful time there, and I want to thank you all for supporting my ambition to travel back and forth and bring back resources to the city of Dania Beach. But I will sing your praises. I will start with Mulliken Park because Cassie and I were like kids truly at a playground. We were playing in the park. We had a great time. I cannot wait for the ribbon cutting because the park's master plan is rocking and rolling. Thank you, City Manager, for all your hard work on this, for promoting it through the Mayor on the Move, which is doing well. And we're just doing really, really great. I have to mention the Easter egg hunt because I have never seen such a great turnout. And it's not just the turnout, it's the energy. It's what happens when all of our community comes together and people from all of the different walks, from different cities. People won't go to other places. They looked on the internet, and that does speak to our communications team. They said, what's going on a Saturday morning? And we were one of the only ones. And people looked it up, they saw, they came. I could barely find a parking space, so maybe we can work on that. But we really barely had any parking at Frost Park, which is a testament to how wonderful things are. And I would be remiss if I did not mention this Earth Day team that I have been working with for the past 5 years. This has been the most amazing Earth Day since I started satin with the city manager's office 5 years ago. And I wanted to do something different for the 5th anniversary. I come up with these, I want to do a pirate theme. Let's do pirates. And, and then we just start rolling with it. But it's not just me who does that. It is, I got this from another mayor at the conference. It's a group project, right? We all have a part in the group project. And so I really especially want to thank Candido, who spearheads this with us, and especially Maxine, who goes back and forth and does all the correspondence, all the follow-up, all the artwork for the Earth Day that we will be celebrating, at the next commission meeting. So happy Earth Day. Thank you all for all of your hard work. You guys, this is the best team that I could imagine working for and being the mayor of this city at this time. So I'm super proud. And Vice Mayor, you're my favorite. Thank you. And well, let's just talk for 10 more minutes. He hid my gavel. Happy Earth Day, everybody. Meeting adjourned.
Take care, guys. Enjoy.
Good night, everyone.
I can't help myself, Joyce.
I was like, stop.